Hey everyone, it's Kai. Right. Today we have another episode of the Fundom Podcast. Really excited to be back. Lots to talk about. And today I'm joined by our local Star Wars expert. It's Helen. What's going on, Helen?
Well, again, a self-proclaimed expert, but I'm good. What day is it even? It's Monday only. Okay, good. We had a long bank holiday weekend with lots of Star Wars news. Yay!
Yeah.
So we could actually literally talk every day Star Wars. Basically, there's so many news. I think we can talk for hours. But
well, today we're not even talking about the Mandalorian, and that comes out on Sunday, and we had the most recent Star Wars trailer. So there's just so much Star Wars right now.
Yeah, it is, which is good.
Yeah, it really is. It's, ever since Game of Thrones has been off the air, television's been weird, but it does feel like over the next 2 months with all these shows coming out, it's going to be a super exciting time to talk about television shows and movies and all that again. So yeah, we're going to start up. And today we're not talking about The Mandalorian. We're not talking about the trailer, but we're actually talking about our favorite Jedi. And I know a lot of you, like, I was literally in tears when they made this announcement. Ewan McGregor is back as Obi Wan Kenobi. Today, we're going to talk about everything Obi-Wan. Got a lot to talk about. Helen's got some amazing points to make. I got some things I'm going to geek out over. But yeah, we invite you to join us and geek out in the comments section. Let's get into this, Helen. Where do we start today?
Well, I don't know, maybe start with the director and with the outline, what we know so far, because obviously, I mean, Disney didn't tell us everything, but we know a few things. For example, like they will start shooting or production in summer 2020. Even Ewan McGregor, he had like a few TV appearances where he talked about Obi-Wan and the Disney Plus series, and he said they'll start shooting in summer 2020. So, I mean, I've worked for TV, so what does that mean? And it's apparently 6 episodes.
So like probably 2021, early 2021, we're gonna get it.
If they start,
I mean, Mandalorian took like 7 months, something like that.
Yeah, but you have post, and I'd rather say it's like a year and 2-3 months. So I would say like end of the year 21, like the last quarter of the year. That would be my bet. But maybe we get it in summer. But I think Obi-Wan, and for me, Star Wars is always something related to Christmas, around Christmas. I mean, they're dropping the Mandalorian just before Christmas. I think the last episode you will have on the 20th of December or something.
No, I think it's actually the 27th of December is the last
27th. So even after Christmas. Look,
so it's gonna be really interesting. And you said 6 episodes. It's basically like we're getting 3 Obi-Wan movies. So Obi-Wan trilogy, basically. Yeah. You can think of it like that.
And I think Ewan or somebody of Variety, or I read it somewhere, because we heard so many rumors about an Obi-Wan movie, like a cinematic movie, and that was in the works, but Solo didn't perform, and then they were like, we're not sure, and so it went to Disney Plus, which, to be fair and to be honest, I'm not really sad about this. Actually, I'm happy because, in 6 hours for TV and production value, you wouldn't have to worry about that. They have enough money to throw at Obi-Wan. So it will be like a cinematic movie look-wise, but we get so much more on Obi and what happened there than in a 2-hour movie.
Helen, I'm really excited because Deborah Chow worked on some of the best TV shows, including Mr. Robot, which is in his final season, which I'm watching right now. So Deborah Chow is the director. We don't know if she's directing episodes yet.
Yeah. And we don't know if she's doing all the 6 or just the first one. We don't know, but she's working on it, and she's working on Mandalorian, and apparently
with Jon Favreau, who's we have also Dave Filoni. There's actually we can actually segue into this. This is a pretty funny story. Freddie Prinze Jr. says Star Wars is for kids, and he was talking about the Force the other day. I just recently shared this video.
Oh God, him screaming! I love that. I mean, it was ridiculous, and I don't.
He has great points in it, though.
He has, but then again, that it was very like, I know George Lucas. I talk to Dave
Yeah.
Filoni on a daily basis. I didn't like that. That was,
Name dropping.
yeah. But he
What
had good points. Fair enough.
we all
But
know who's bad at name dropping. It would be me.
you,
But, but I think the general consensus, the good thing about this Obi-Wan announcement, and I think everybody's really excited for Episode 9. J.J. Abrams is back, and Jon Favreau is going to be great with the Mandalorian, and Pedro Pascal, and tons of great names attached to that project. But this is like people have a love for Obi-Wan, especially Ewan's Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And for the I go back and I watch the prequels with much more appreciation than I did before when I first watched them, and I'm like, man, Ewan McGregor was really this big draw for Star Wars, and
he was the heart of it. For me, he was the heart of it.
Yeah.
And like visuals and aliens and everything, but he was the heart of all the three.
His acting is tremendous. He's been in so many other projects. He's actually in another project, which is the sequel to The Shining, called Doctor Sleep, which I'm actually really excited to see. But Ewan McGregor is super passionate about this character. We know, this is a good thing. Generally, when actors are super interested in their role and super passionate about it, they get right into it. And I'm not saying every actor delivers a great performance, but look at the same thing with The Witcher with Henry Cavill. He sought out that project. He's super excited to play that role. But I think the general consensus around this is that everybody is really excited for Obi-Wan.
Yeah. No, I haven't heard anything really negative. Not that it's a series now, not that they dropped the movie after Solo wasn't that successful. I haven't heard anything bad. So let's wait and see. And as you said, Deborah Chow, I mean, she did Better Call Saul. I love it.
Oh my God. Anything with them.
Yeah, on the first season of Jessica Jones, which I liked, second. And so I'm hopeful, as I'm always, till something happens.
Hey, I mean, we're technically, hopefully we'll get our episodes. We don't know the exact, runtime. Usually episodes are a little bit less than an hour.
They said an hour.
Yeah, something like that. We were spoiled with Game of Thrones because we had, bigger episodes towards the end. But let's get into the plot. So this is Helen. We have in our notes here 8 years after Revenge of the Sith. So this is pretty close to Solo.
Yeah, it is. And so that means Luke is literally, I mean, we saw in the end, Obi giving Luke to Aunt Beru, right? And then so he can be like 8 or 9, and I mean, was a baby, so he's 8 years old. So I mean, I don't think Luke will play a big role. I think it's hard to cast children for these things. We saw that in the prequels. And so I don't think Luke himself will play a big role. Maybe his aunt and uncle will, because we know who plays Uncle Ben, Uncle Ben. Oh God, Joel Edgerton, and apparently he wants to come back. That would be so cool. He wasn't a big star then when he played him, but
it's still cool to have these connections, right?
Yeah.
So Darth Maul, is this going to be a thing? Like, there's some speculation about Darth Maul appearing. I mean, he's obviously a fan favorite character. Is that something that we're going to see?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, look, I'm a big Clone Wars and Rebels fan, and the thing is, in Rebels, so for like a little background info, so Maul, he was in Solo, right? And so Maul killed Obi-Wan's love interest, Duchess Satine. And then he met him in one of the last Rebel seasons. He met him in the desert and they fought. And then Obi killed Maul. And to what I understood, and I think what Filoni was saying, they were seeing each other there for the first time since that Mandalore episode. So, I mean, they would go against their own canon, which, I mean, yes, it's an animated series, but it's still canon. So they would go against their own canon if Maul would meet Obi. But we
know that Filoni's attached to this project. We know that they got a good cast of people that are, really, really enriched with the Star Wars lore, Helen. So like you're saying, like it's a possibility, but that would really kind of change things in the timeline, right?
Yeah. So my idea was, because we learn about a lot about the Sith holocron in Rebels. Ezra is using them and everything, and Maul and Ezra are using them. So maybe he has visions or something like that of Obi, and then later goes and finds him, something like that, and it would be super cool. Because what I loved about Solo was all the Crimson Dawn stuff, like the underworld stuff, and that was such a cool vibe. And maybe we'll get some of that, so it doesn't have to focus completely on Obi 1 hour 6 episode, but can show the world as it is when Obi went to Tatooine.
Well, one thing that's really interesting too is that Obi-Wan is connected to the Force Ghost side of things, and we had Qui-Gon, who's one of the to get him back, that would be Liam Neeson, that would be really cool to get an appearance from him. Oh my God, I would cry. That would be so great.
And I love the Grey Jedi, so this is totally my cup of tea. If he would come back, and if we would learn more about that side of the Force, because Obi has so much time on his hand, so we should he will meditate. There are a lot about meditation and everything. He doesn't have that much to do. There are some sand people and whatnot, but we might learn something about that side of the Force, which
definitely,
yay, go for it.
Even learning more about the Sith side, because Obi-Wan he's an incredibly intelligent character. He's not just in touch with the Force. He's and also experienced so much. So it will be really interesting to kind of see him going kind of like on these secret missions to kind of find out like where everything stands in the galaxy.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see what the actual plot line is. But in our notes here, we have George Lucas gave permission to use the idea that Obi left Tatooine in between the time until A New Hope.
Yeah, which makes sense. Otherwise you would just show him on Tatooine, which could be a bit boring. We come to that later. I think when we talk about, let's now talk about the now canon and possibilities, but they're old legends, and we know Filoni loves to bring in legends and introduce some legend stuff to the now new canon, but let's talk about that later. But you're completely right, he is George Lucas. I don't know how much he's involved in this one. In Obi, I didn't hear anything about that, but he gave permission, so I hope, like you said, he can travel around and see the state of the galaxy, because Tatooine.
Well, we saw that in the Mandalorian. We saw that in the Mandalorian trailer, right? We saw like space travel and stuff like that. We know that bounty hunting obviously requires that for you to go to different locations and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll see some of that with the Obi-Wan plot too, because some people were like, "Well, where's this all going to take place?" Right? So that's going to be really interesting. What's next?
Talking about bounty hunting, excuse me, what about Boba? Is Boba out there hunting Jedi? Will we see? Come on, because we heard those rumors that there will be a Boba Fett movie before Solo, before anything really. The first rumor I had was there'd be a Boba Fett movie, and hey, maybe if they don't make a movie, they introduce him here again. And
because it was kind of in the same timeline as where they're kind of starting to craft this timeline of new Star Wars content that they were going to be releasing. So that'd be really interesting if they
younger. He was younger than A New Hope, but still he was there.
So it'd be really interesting to see too. Boba Fett's a hugely popular character, and especially with the Mandalorian coming out, they can kind of maybe do some cool things with that.
Yeah.
So there's so much that we have to talk about.
I know. There's so many,
especially with Obi-Wan.
I know. So so we had the Solo and the Red Dawn. That would be really cool. I think maybe we get a chance. And we talked about Luke as the kid, and maybe I don't know if this is a thing, but don't we think that Anakin can somehow feel? Oh, Anakin is no longer, but Darth Vader can somehow feel that there are kids, two of his kids out there somewhere, and is he hunting maybe for something? But at least he knows Obi must still, or he must feel that Obi and Ashoka must still be alive. So, I mean, it would be so interesting to know, is Darth Vader hunting or looking for Obi? Is he sending out people? Is he sending out somebody to find Obi?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a gut feeling. Call this a gut feeling, but I have this there's going to be this like intense secrecy to what Obi-Wan is going to be doing. Like, he's there's so much, like, these wars were so crazy, right? So it's like, how does the Resistance keep on fighting back the Sith and all of that? Obi-Wan's a huge part of that, right? So
Yeah. And the thing is, he sent out a message apparently to all the Jedi spread out there that weren't killed by Order 66.
yeah.
And it could be a thing. Maybe Darth Vader, obviously, or the Emperor or somebody knows from that. So they must know he is still alive. And I'm pretty sure Darth Vader wants revenge on Obi.
Oh,
and I mean, we see in the comics, we saw a bit teased in Rogue One that he's out there hunting Jedi, Darth Vader himself, right? So why wouldn't he look for Obi? So, oh my God, just imagine Darth Vader in
this would fill in all the gaps too. Like 6 hours
would.
is a lot. 3 movies, think about it. I mean, that's a whole nother trilogy right there, just for Obi-Wan, kind of like Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. And no, Obi trying to evade him. I mean, after what happened, I mean, I have the high ground.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he wants revenge. So yeah, let's see if what's his name makes an appearance as Darth Vader.
Oh man.
Yeah,
yeah, Christensen.
Hayden Christensen, yes.
Yeah. There was I mean, there's been a lot of buzz. This is not Obi-Wan stuff, but there's been a lot of buzz whether he will make an appearance in Star Wars Episode 9 to Ben Solo. And let's talk a little bit about this, because this is a really interesting thing. Will we learn why Obi-Wan calls himself Ben?
Yeah, that's always.
I mean, Kylo Ren. I mean, Episode 9 is going to come out before Obi-Wan. So I think there's going to be something interesting. Perhaps maybe Kylo calling himself Ben Skywalker. I don't know if that's a possibility, but I and that's kind of where I'm going with this. Are we going to find kind of some of the backstory of that?
Yeah. So I mean,
for Obi-Wan.
Yeah. I don't know. It would be super interesting. I mean, like Knights of Ren, that was probably given to him by Snoke or whoever. But that's like a title. But Ben is like another first name. And obviously he couldn't call himself, even on Tatooine, living in the bloody desert, he couldn't call himself Obi-Wan. but still, it's weird.
That's a well-known name. Right.
Yeah, and I read the novel, the novelization of Master and Apprentice, about when he was a Padawan and his relationship to Qui-Gon and how he grew up to be a Jedi, blah blah, which is super interesting. I can only recommend that book. It's really, really good. And
I want to listen to that. I'm sorry, I haven't read it yet.
I love the new canon book. I mean, I obviously love the old ones, but some of the new canon ones are really, really good. Claudia Gray ones, and so that one is a good one. And if you want to know more about Qui-Gon and his relationship, it's really cool. And I think that will play a part in here, or it's important to have that knowledge to understand a few things, but because even in 6 hours you can't explain everything, and this is how Star Wars is today, right? Sometimes you have to read the comics to understand stuff, or to read a backstory of Phasma, because I mean, come on, Phasma, she was like underused, and if you read her book you understood way more about her.
Part of the thing about Star Wars too is like there's always this idea of this kind of these new cycles starting, right? And we don't really always get the exact endings that we want, or all the information of what's going to happen after in between. So it's going to be really interesting to see kind of what style of show that this show is going to be. Is it going to be Western like The Mandalorian? Is it going to be kind of this more dark? I have a feeling it's going to be more dark.
Yeah, like Solo. I have a feeling it's like Solo mixed with, I mean, not Western, but you have Tatooine. Tatooine is a bloody sand desert with sand people. So, and I think he'll be there. He won't just be roaming around the galaxy. Will be his story, how he came there.
One of the things too, Helen, one of the things too is just like Luke's destiny of what happened to Luke. And I know a lot of people didn't enjoy The Last Jedi, but his final, kind of ending moments were very much like Obi-Wan. So going back to see kind of the path that because Luke went into exile for quite some time. And I mean, he has a very similar story to Obi. So are we going to kind of see a lot of that, right?
But he had blue milk, so I hope Obi doesn't have blue milk.
Blue milk, yuck.
Bloody hell. No, you're right. I never thought about that, but the ending was pretty similar, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean that's the thing, the repetition of these cycles. I mean, Luke's destiny was very, very much akin to Obi-Wan's, and I think that part of the reason why the show is going to be darker, and this is this gut feeling, is we're going to see kind of some of these how he really feels about everything that happened, right? Because Luke went into exile for a long time, so I think we're going to get. I think the Mandalorian is going to be. It's going to have topics that are interesting and that are also very mature, but I think that this one's going to be. I think Obi-Wan's going to be darker.
I think so. Yeah. And
I mean, Ewan McGregor, like the level he can go to, the ranges in his acting, he can take it to anywhere. Like he can be funny, he can be serious, he can take it to dark places. Like I said, he's doing the Dr. Sleep movie, which is going to be really interesting. I'm really excited to see that. So I think that there's going to be this really interesting range to where we see Ewan McGregor take Obi-Wan's character.
And you saw that, again, I'm quoting Rebels again in Clone Wars, but you saw that, obviously that was animated and that was not Ewan McGregor, but he can completely play that. But you see so many different Obis during those animated series, way more than in the prequels. So, he was in love, and he kind of was done with the Jedi for a while, and all that, he went through all that. And like you said, now he's on his own, and it's a whole new game, and literally everything he worked for is gone, and all his friends, everybody's dead. He has to take care from afar, from little boy, while hiding. It's really cool. I don't know. This is what I'm most. I love The Mandalorian, and I think it will be super cool. But I just love Obi-Wan, and I'm so connected since I was a little kid to. I mean, starting with Alec Guinness, and he played it perfectly. But then Ewan McGregor, and I love him.
Yeah, Ewan. I mean, Obi-Wan is kind of like I don't want to say, maybe he's the moral compass of the Jedi. Like, I mean. He's just,
that's what I mean with a great Jedi. Yeah.
He's so well balanced. Like he tries to be objective, and I mean, I'm just so excited for Ewan McGregor though. Like, and let's talk a little bit about the announcement too, because you were literally driving. What was this? No, this was
that was when we learned that Palpatine was back. I drove on the side of the road, calling you, screaming and
but you cried for this one.
I cried. Yeah, I'm very emotional about Star Wars.
But just seeing him so happy at that announcement and seeing how excited everyone was, I don't know. Just the energy that's behind this is I really think it's going to be so good.
And you know what? I mean, you can say what you want about Kathleen Kennedy. I'm not going there. But you could see that those two kind of vibed, and there was a good energy with some of the actors. She doesn't know an Alden Ehrenreich. What did she care? There was a guy who now played Han Solo, but you can feel she has lots of respect for Ewan McGregor himself, and they had a good energy and chemistry, and she still is the president of Lucasfilm, and as far as we know, she'll still be it in 2021, and that's a good thing, that because I mean, Disney fired lots of directors, they shut down many projects. Just happened again for D&D. So
speaking about that, I mean, the input that I bet you they're having conversations with you and about the plot, like taking consultation from him and listening to him and what's important to him about Obi-Wan. And we kind of heard that problem with Game of Thrones season 8, Helen, where the actors felt like they were secluded and they weren't really involved in their characters' endings. And I think that like what you're saying is what I'm feeling too, is that I think that they want to pay Obi their respects, but at the same time give the wheel to Ewan McGregor. So I think that there's good communication is so important, right?
Yeah.
And I think
apparently one of his deals was, that's what I heard, that he wants to direct one episode, which would be really cool. I wouldn't mind that. I don't know if he has directed things in the past, but I think, he's in that business for so long. He probably can do it without training. And that was one of the deals. And I think they have a lot of trust, like you said, in him. But then again, don't always listen to, because I think there's a negative side to what you said. Like a lot of the actors, like when they asked Mark Hamill about what he thought would happen to Luke after Return of the Jedi. He had some really weird theories. I know, but he had super weird theories about what happened, and I was like, "Do you know the law?" And he doesn't have to read all the Legends books and whatnot to know his character. He knows and feels his character, but some actors, they just play a role, and that's what they're paid for. And some of the Game of Thrones characters never read any of those books. They just read the scripts they were given and they felt it and they played. So there are two sides there, like Henry Cavill, he's obviously a fan, he knows the books, that's different. But but often actors don't do that. So I wouldn't listen. If I would be a director, I would be like, yeah, thank you, bye.
Another thing that I'm really excited to talk about is, are we gonna see Yoda in Obi? Please give me Yoda. He had such a great part in The Last Jedi. I have to see him again. He was just trolling in The Last Jedi. I loved it.
Burning trees and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, we can. He's on that bloody, what's that, Dagobah, right?
Yep.
Yeah, on that bloody jungle planet. I mean, what's he doing there? He's probably bored. So maybe Obi's visiting him there, and they're going to the cave together or whatnot. I don't know, but yeah, it could be.
So, okay, if you're listening to this podcast, I need all of you to put in the comment section on a scale of 1 to Yoda how excited you would be to see Yoda in Obi-Wan.
Isn't there like a little icon for Yoda, like something green? I don't know.
Yeah. There's gotta be a little like emoji that looks like Yoda.
Put a green emoji, whatever, a green emoji.
Green dinosaur or something, like a green like there must be a goblin emoji in there or something.
And talking about dinosaur, just a fun fact for the people who know. I love to drop these little thingies. Like Obi apparently learned during his journey the great dragon scream, and that is a big thing in canon now, and everybody's laughing about it. But I want to know, how did he learn it? How does it sound? Please give me that, because it's just
that would
written.
Be one of, that would be one of the funny moments that they can insert. Be like, people.
I would love that. Yeah, and people know like the extended lore. They'd be like, "Yay, cool! Now I know how the great dragon scream sounds."
So in canon, the leader of the Tusken Raiders.
No, canon Legends.
Sorry, in the Legends, they met a Jedi that went to the dark side and had a Sith order later. So are we going to see kind of maybe Obi-Wan hunting down some of the Sith? We talked about Vader maybe hunting down Obi, kind of them doing the same thing on this kind of like parallel path.
Yeah, well, I mean, there can only be two real Sith, right? So that's the Emperor and Anakin. I always say Anakin, like Darth Vader. So that's them. But yeah, you're completely right. There's a book, and it's mentioned that guy they met later, he was another fallen Jedi. I was just reading something about Kreia. a former Jedi master, then fallen to the Darth side, and really interesting. I think we should make an episode about those gray Jedis and why Jedi fall to the dark side, because that's so cool and so many things to talk about. But yeah, so I read that, and
I don't believe in the gray Jedi.
mm,
I'm
no,
gonna
but
go all Freddie Prinze on you. No, just kidding.
oh god, it's for kids. Then there's nothing great for kids. Just pink and purple and lollipops. Yeah, no, that's right. And there's another story. It's another Legends plot. And I told you that Obi sent out like a signal to the galaxy warning everybody, the last Jedi who weren't killed by Order 66, and a former Padawan and friend of Anakin. They had some missions together in the old Legends books, and he somehow sent out a message that he's in trouble and the Empire's after him. I think his name was Ferris Olin. I pronounce
Ferris.
it.
I think it was Ferris.
Ferris, yeah, I butchered that probably. And Obi went there and helped him. So that plot is very. I mean, that could happen. Something like that could happen. Like
Going back and forth from the dark to the light to the light. I mean, like this kind of flip flopping.
Yeah, and Obi leaving Tatooine for a reason. I mean, he's not journeying. He's not going to Disneyland, right? So, and he's not. What is he doing? So he must have a mission. So maybe something like that. And as I said, Filoni loves to introduce old stuff and maybe change it a little bit, old stuff from Legends. So that was a really cool story. And about that Ferris guy, like you said, he even worked for the Emperor then, like Mara Jade, and then he came back to the light side, and he looked after, like Obi looked after Luke, he looked after Leia. A bit like the Jedi side looking after Leia. Obviously, she had her adopted parents, and then was Princess of Alderaan, blah, blah. But he looked after her in the Legends, which is cool because both then had kind of a Jedi looking after them.
That's really badass, actually.
Yeah, and I don't think they go. I mean, maybe he's visiting Bail Organa. That would be pretty cool if you bring him back in the picture. And if that was one of the missions, checking out on Leia, because he obviously knows that they were twins and separated. So yeah, could be something.
I'm really, I am just so intrigued to really where they're going to take this, the timeline, everything, like what characters we might be seeing. It's just, I'm so excited. I don't know what I'm more excited for. I'm really excited for all three. Like, I mean, super excited for episode 9. That's going to be at the end of the Skywalker saga. I'm probably even more excited for The Mandalorian because I'm a huge Pedro Pascal fan. He was great in Narcos and Game of Thrones and other projects that I've seen him in. I don't know. There's just something about this. Oh, it's so mysterious right now. We don't know enough about it. And hopefully we'll get some more news soon about it. And we'll be able to dive more deeply into kind of the plot and stuff.
I think they now focus on their more and more trailers and everything dropping and last minute thingies on The Mandalorian. They will push that to sell Disney Plus, obviously. But after The Mandalorian is over, it's not over. They already have a second season, so in the pipeline. So they'll definitely film that. I think they'll film pretty soon, actually. And then we have the Cassian Andor series, which we don't know what the name of that one will be, but it's the Rogue One crew, and and then Obi. But I think Obi is a limited series. I don't think it will be more than these, because it doesn't make sense. I think this should be, round up in these 6 episodes and no more, because that would give you the feeling it's very special.
Yes.
Like more the cinema feeling.
So I want to take actually a direct quote here from Ewan. The storylines does sit. So there's storylines sits between episode 3, and it's talking about the kind of the arc for Obi-Wan. The Jedi Order was falling apart. It will be interesting to take a character we know in a way and show him because he says because the Jedi got slaughtered at the end of episode 3. It's quite something to get over, he says. So that's real. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is going to be so intense. Like I said, I think you and I both agree it's going to be something special, like this trilogy for Obi-Wan, filling in the blanks. And I'm just particularly excited to see more of these characters, like this, just him a little bit older, just where he's at and kind of who he's going to be taking on and where he's
Yeah.
going to be headed in the galaxy.
Well, the thing is, they must age him down a bit because, like from coming from Sir Alan McGuinness, like 10 years later, he would be Alan McGuinness. So it's really hot in the desert. It's bad for your skin. They have to age him down a little bit. I don't know.
He's going to have a big beard, and like a scruffy.
I mean, the thing is, these 6 episodes could be around a time span of 6 years. What do we know? Maybe it's 10 years. Maybe it ends literally before A New Hope begins. We don't know. Could be. Wouldn't make that much sense, but could be.
And what's so amazing about Ewan too is that he said some of the most satisfying things that he got to do when he was filming the prequels of Star Wars is that some of the fight sequences and that he would study Alec Guinness and just the challenge of playing Obi-Wan. So I think that he's ready for the challenge and just it's going to be really interesting to see. He obviously can't be super because Ewan still looks good for his age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they show him. Yeah. I think they're going to show him scruffy with a big beard. He looked great with a beard on stage. Probably make him look kind of disheveled and kind of distraught from the things that he's experienced in his life.
Yeah. And the thing is, like every generation has a different understanding of Star Wars. Like we're not the first gen. I think our parents are the first generation, right? They like in the 70s, that was their Star Wars, and Luke and Leia being young and whatnot, and Sir Alan McGuinness being Obi. But I still think, for me, Ewan kind of represents like the prequels, and also he also stands for because. Like you said, he saw, and he obviously he's not Alan McGuinness, but still you could feel it that it's the same person. And like for Alden Ehrenreich in Solo, he was not Han Solo, and that was a problem for me, at least. I mean, everybody can see what they want, but that was it for me. So he's like for all the generation, and I think even for people getting into Star Wars now. Like the prequels, they were way too young. So their Star Wars is Rey and their Star Wars is Kylo Ren, right? They grew up with that stuff. But I still think that Obi can be a really important figure in their world, in their understanding of Star Wars, which is really cool. And I love that. And I don't think many characters can do that. And I think the problem with the old characters like Leia and maybe not Luke, but Leia was she was there since the beginning, but it's hard to, like a 14-year-old girl, she doesn't think Leia is like the coolest chick ever. She thinks Rey is. And I think Obi is different, for me at least. This is how I feel.
Well, the thing that's so interesting too is in between these two sets of trilogies, you know what I mean, the prequels and then of course the new trilogy that we have, is there's these time jumps. It's gonna be really interesting, and we're basically getting this new trilogy between the end of episode 3 and A New Hope. So it's gonna be really interesting to see where they take this. There's so much Star Wars to talk about, Helen. Well, let's kind of do this kind of as we ease towards the end of the podcast here. What are you most excited for in Obi-Wan?
I want to see Dexter again. I want to see a diner scene, like somehow in disguise he goes back to Coruscant and goes to the diner and has a chat with Dexter. What's up, Dexter? What do you know? Can you give me information on? And he just has a milkshake in Dex diner. And some weird rumor I heard that they make an animated series out of Dexter's Diner for kids, like targeted to a younger audience. Which I don't know if that's true or if that's just BS. But it would be so funny. So I love these. I was just joking, but I love these little things you can find in there. And I would love if they plant those things like Easter eggs for us to find. I love that. That would be so cool.
I think what I'm really excited about, and I think that we're going to see this in the next movie, because we're going to see the influence of these influences of Luke and the Emperor on Kylo and Rey in episode 9. But what I'm really interested to see is kind of this disheveled, broken down Obi-Wan who feels like he's failed in a way because Anakin became Darth Vader and all of that, but also his connections to people who know he's still possible to regenerate himself and become who he really is supposed to be. And with Qui-Gon Jinn and Yoda and all these other people that hopefully will be there supporting him. But it will be interesting to kind of see him alone and if there's some support there, some support system for him. That's kind of what I'm really excited about if they're going to bring back some of these characters for Obi.
Yeah. Well, I think the atmosphere in the beginning is literally him being alone there. And I think that's the mood and how they will introduce him. And then it takes, it paces up and he will get back to the old Obi he was. Maybe, I hope, this is what I hope. But then again, Luke refers to him as, what does he say, like old crazy Ben or something like that? And so then he became
maybe some
like 10 years later
in the desert. Yeah. Or on Dagobah in the cave, smoking some weird leaf with Yoda or something.
Oh god, that would be good. That like a spin-off or like an extended version. PG-18.
Any final thoughts on Obi-Wan? I mean, we're both really excited, Helen. I think the energy around the project is really, really good.
It is.
And just overall just super excited for it. I think this is the number one Star Wars thing I'm looking to for the future for sure, even though it's farther away. But we have Mandalorian on Sunday. Wow.
So tell the people what will happen. What are your plans? What will happen? What do I have to do? What is my
So the cool thing for content creators is when they do release one episode a week, it makes it a lot easier to create content because you can kind of take on multiple topics, multiple days. So Mandalorian is going to be going on this Sunday. Me and Helen are going to be doing a little preview. Actually, for the last trailer, there's 2 trailers. Star Wars Episode 9 trailer, which had some really, really awesome stuff in it. And then also the Mandalorian trailer was just dropped the other day. We're going to do a Mandalorian preview, though, this week. I think Thursday we're recording, Helen, you said was okay?
I don't know.
We're going to figure out. We're going to record a Mandalorian preview right before it starts. But I'm going to be doing lots of Mandalorian content. I'm hopefully going to be doing there's no other shows that are going to be kind of just thrust in the forefront, so I'm going to be doing daily Star Wars content until some of the other shows come back. Vikings season 6 and The Witcher and The Expanse come back next month, but I'm going to be focusing on the Mandalorian and turning a Zora Hype channel into a Star Wars channel for the next little bit.
I'm there. I'll be there. Count me in. I know, I love it.
would you actually, you want to come on for some like episode reviews? Like I'm going to do my own edited videos, doing my own like episode reviews, what I thought, kind of plot points and stuff like that, trailer breakdowns, kind of stuff like that. But also I think it'd be cool to kind of have your voice because you know more about Star Wars than I do. I'm still learning and I'm still a Padawan. I'm still a Padawan.
You're my Padawan. I just read a lot. That's it. So I love reading. I didn't study literature for nothing. No, no, definitely. We just, I have my job and I'm in a different time zone, but we make it work. I definitely want to talk about The Mandalorian. I don't know if we can do it right after the episode because it drops for me at another
like
time.
4 a.m. for you, or like 5 a.m.
Call Helen at 5 a.m. No, but we'll make it work, and I love to talk about that.
I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to do an after show or not. It's a possibility, but we'll kind of see after probably not for the first week, but if people ask for it and things go well, that is definitely a possibility. You know what I mean? There's 8 episodes for The Mandalorian. Starts this Sunday, ends on December 27th, and they're already green lighting stuff for the second season, doing storyboard, filming, all sorts. They're already doing production for season 2, so that's really good news. Super exciting stuff. And then like I said, we're gonna do another Star Wars video this week, another podcast, and today was super fun. So if you enjoyed this podcast, Please make sure you leave us some love in the comments section, what you're most excited for in the Star Wars universe. There's a lot to talk about. Join the conversation. We'll be in the comments section hitting you guys up and chatting with y'all. And then, Helen, if you want to go check out Helen, she's got some amazing Lord of the Rings videos that are on the way. I've been lucky enough to kind of see some of her PowerPoints that she shows me. Is this cool? And I say, yes, I don't understand what's going on here, but it looks good. So Helen is going to be making some excellent Lord of the Rings videos. I say she's a Star Wars expert. She probably knows just as much or more about Lord of the Rings. You want to go check her more? Okay. She's going to brag a little bit and say she's a Lord of the Rings expert now.
I am. That I am. Not self-proclaimed that I am. Fact.
You can keep your secrets. But if you want to find out Helen, if you want to chat with Helen and talk about how awesome she is, you can reach out to her in social media in the comment section.
Or don't.
Yeah. You can support this podcast by joining the Fundom Patreon in the comment section. Link to my social media. If you want to chat or talk about anything nerdy, I'm always up for it. Thanks for watching the podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.
And don't forget to post the green Yoda thingies. Spam the comment section, please.
May the force be with you.
I want to see the.
You're screwing my outro right now.
I know. I'm sorry, but we'll have to give. I don't know, to name the person with the coolest Yoda thingy in your comment section.
Maybe we will dress up in Star Wars outfits for like the Mandalorian finale or something like that, or Star Wars Episode 9 or something like that. Maybe we'll do something cool like that. But thanks for watching the podcast. Like I said, if you want to reach out, come join us in the comment section. Have a blast, and we'll be doing another one of these later in the week. May the force be with you.
Bye-bye.